Half a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and I am joined by friends at UOG Press, an incredible organization that has done so much for our island community. And now they need your help because there is a call out for writers. And here to talk about that is Via Defan. She is with UOG Press. Half a day.
Half a day, Jason. Thank you for having me.
I've not seen you in a cajillion years, and by cajillion I mean two because of that whole pandemic deal. But
Yeah,
it's good to see you back on Zoom again. And Dr. Evelyn Flores. Doc, a pleasure.
Hi, Jason.
Hi.
Half a day.
Half a day,
Guam.
Yeah, so there's a Chamorro anthology project that you guys are should I say undertaking, underwriting, overseeing? Like how does the relationship between UOG Press and this project about Chamorro anthology?
Okay, so I'm the project director, and the project's name is Nahuzum, which means just let it out, get it out. And we chose that because it's got a really strong, urgent voice that we need to get our work out there. And the aim of the project is to produce, is to bring some of the most influential Chamorro writers into the same space. And we are looking, the call is we're looking for promising writers. Many of them will be young, but we also are calling out for writers who just decide at some stage in their career, like it's time for me to get this stuff out. So we're looking for promising writers who are wanting to get their voice out, and they see this as one way to do it. We have a wonderful group of editors assembled. I call it the dream team of editors. We've got Dr. Ann Paris-Hattori. All of these are very influential.
I know Dr. Ann. She's wonderful.
Yeah. And Dr. Miget Bavakwa, who is now the curator at the museum.
Of course.
We also have Teresita Perez, who just recently authored the Chamorro Legends text, which is in both Chamorro and English. And she's very active in the local scene. And of course, Dr. Craig Santos Perez, we're glad he's agreed to come on board. And then representing the CNMI, we have Andrew Roberto, who's program coordinator of the Arts and Humanities Council there.
I used to work with Andrew. He's a very talented
we're just really glad they're not just passionate storytellers, but they're also wonderful people to work with. So we've got what I call the dream team on board.
Excellent. So then you've assembled this group because of their expertise, because of their obvious passion and commitment, and obviously of regional scope. So it's not just like a Guam thing. You're actually covering the entire Marianas. But as you said, Doc, you're actually looking for perhaps voices not yet heard who are authoring like words not yet written, right?
Right.
The talent we don't know about yet.
They've ventured out a little bit, but they really haven't established influence yet. And they're seeking to do that because, Jason, the inspiration for this project came from the writers themselves. I mean, if you look at the field, what's going on out there, there's like a geyser, an eruption of writing. We are writing big time. And we've been writing since we were able to write in English. We've been putting our stories down in English. We've been putting our voices out there. But it seems like now there's just this huge eruption of voices happening. What's missing is that we still aren't in many of the classrooms where Pacific Island literature is taught or Indigenous literatures. And the idea is to put together these voices in a volume so we have a critical mass, we have a presence, we have visibility. And wherever in the world someone's planning to teach a class in Indigenous literatures, they'll see this text and they'll say, hey, there is a critical mass of Chamorro writers. And that doesn't exist right now. We have lots of writers writing in many different places across various social media, but putting them all together is very important for academia. For us to get into the classrooms is to establish, like, we do have this critical mass of Chamorro literature.
Okay, so that is the concept, and it's I can't think of any project that is more worthwhile to our island community. So Via, I guess all the pressure is on you now. So how do you carry out this plan, and how do you actually be able to find these talented voices and and motivate them to contribute and and basically metaphorically get them all in the same room?
Yeah, I think a rising thing with writers who really want to get their voices out there is, being part of active on social media and reaching those spaces in that way. And so UOG Press is really doing what they can to use our platform with, a larger following to reach out to these various writers in Guam, in the CNMI, across the diaspora, who don't hear this news in person or through their neighbor. So we have a call out actually already on Instagram detailing all the information that Dr. Flores is talking about, but also how to submit and what we're looking for. And also to supplement that, we are hosting various workshops throughout the island from July to November, and some of those workshops are specifically geared towards the anthology itself. So it'll be structured a little differently in that those interested in participating will have to submit their work to UOG's email, which I will provide later, but submit that to us prior so that it can be circulated through the rest of the participants. And in that way, people will be able to read the work and come into the class with feedback already in hand. So it just ensures a more efficient and productive session where everyone gets some time to delve into their work and really come home with substantial feedback to really create something worth submitting. So
okay, so and I'm curious now, fascinated too, I guess is the more appropriate word, how I'm feeling about this, but because you're setting this up as a proper anthology, right? Are you looking for writers to make specific contributions about certain points in our island's time, or is it like, because like an anthology, you want to tell the whole story, from point A to point B. So are you looking for particular contributions, or is it, like we'll take all comers and then it's our job to kind of like arrange it and, kind of like tell the story chronologically?
Right, we're accepting all different types of writing. So if you're a writer of short stories, we want your short story, poetry, essays, even if when you're writing a novel, if you have a novel in progress, an excerpt from the novel, or if you'd like to give us the whole novel so we can choose what the excerpt would be, we can do that as well. But I wanted to mention this, Jason, because this is not something new for the Chamorro people. This is part of our legacy. Francis Morales, one of the Jesuit priests, writing at a very early time of colonization for Guam, the late 1600s, he wrote that poets among Chamorro people were highly esteemed, highly revered. They held very high positions, which shows that our people have always had a love of language along with the love of storytelling. So I wanted to get that out there because some people might be saying, oh, this is something new. The word is, get the word out that storytelling and literature has a long history with Guam. We've always loved language, and we've always loved the play of language.
What about Doc? I'm going to hold hold you accountable to your PhD now, if I may. I don't know if your dissertation was on the prose of the Chamorro writing style and everything, but what about the ancient Chamorro art form of writing, like with the prose and the way we wove stories and our ancestors like put words together? What made that so distinct?
Well, we come from an oral tradition of literature, and we're still very, very close to those oral roots. So wherever you go, you're going to hear people telling stories, whether it's in the family, around the table, storytelling. People love to do that. I remember growing up during a time where you could not run for politics unless you were a good speaker. So, the politicians, the candidates, now that it's voting time, would go from village to village. They'd set up this huge platform, they'd serve food, and then you would have to get up there and tell a good story. And people would judge whether you would be a great politician.
Literally on a soapbox, right?
Yes, yeah. And so that was an exciting time, and we still have that love. So we come from an oral tradition. And unfortunately, we don't have much of how Chamorro wrote during the Spanish colonization period. But ever since the Americans came on board, 1898, got us into school, taught us how to write in English, we took our love of language and put it down. So we've never left that behind. And I'm reminded of that whenever I go to a party or whenever our family gets together. Just storytelling is becomes a centerpiece along with singing, and singing also carries stories. Dance carries stories.
I was just about to say, if I may ask, and if I jump in on this as you see fit, but along with the traditional forms, and you mentioned, Doc, like storytelling, writing, poetry, even. How about some more maybe contemporary forms of writing? The spoken word format is very, very popular right now, thanks to our friends, like Melvin Wampat Borja, who's done phenomenal work, with that kind of thing. How about if people have like new forms of communication they would like to share?
Oh, yes, excellent. We're looking for all sorts of forms, experimental forms. Just send what you have. Don't worry about whether it's good enough. This is the word I want to get out to writers. Writers, if you're wanting to get your name out there and you're wanting to be published, some of us are closet writers, right? We put it on our computer and that's therapeutic, it's cathartic, we're happy. But others really want their voices to be published. They want to share what they've experienced and what they see as reality. They want to get it out there. Yeah. So if you're one of those, please send it to us. We writers know that. Don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid like, oh, they're not going to accept my piece, because that's what writers do. We send our work out. We are strong and courageous. And when a rejection slip comes to us, we collapse on the floor and cry, and then we get up and write again and publish again.
And that's also very indicative of the Chamorro people as well.
Right, and that's part of the strengthening of the writer, right? You get stronger and stronger with each rejection slip. So don't worry about that. Send it to us, and we will get word back to you whether your work has been accepted or not, and then you go on from there. So that's the word I want to get out. Don't be afraid.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid. Send it out.
Very, very, very encouraging. And like I said, it's art, and art deserves to be appreciated. So Via, let's talk registration.
Yes, so like I said previously, we already have the call out. If you are interested in registering for the workshop specifically, the announcement will be coming soon, and we'll only be accepting inquiries or requests to participate after that announcement. But people can anticipate that the workshop will be in August 19, and it's a bit of a lengthier one, like I said, because it's structured differently, and we want to make sure everyone gets substantial feedback. But in terms of registering, you can find out all that information on uog.edu/UOG Press, and under projects, we have a tab for the Nahudzong anthology call, and that will have our information and our email where you can submit pieces and inquiries to.
Excellent. So time is of the essence, and let's make sure we get these, this expression, this creativity, and this is very important. I'm sure you both of you ladies would agree. This is a very important way that we are documenting, like our history and who we are.
Right. And the workshop, let me give a plug here for the workshop. It's really important if you're a kind of a fledgling writer, because it gives you a space where you can put your work out there, and then other writers will look at that work. So it is a workshop. It's not a teaching situation. You put your work out there, everyone talks about it, you look at it, and you get it ready to send out for publication. So if you're wanting to submit, I would urge you to join the workshop.
All right. Well, thank you so much, both ladies. And we're gonna catch up with you as this project progresses and everything, because we're big fans of UOG Press. I mean, we will gladly have you on the show as many times as we can, because you guys are doing such fantastic work over there, and we really want to see where this project goes. So Via Defant and Dr. Evelyn Flores at UOG Press, thank you both, and thank you for what you're doing for our community.
Thank you, Jason.
And happy liberation to you both. Viva liberation.
Viva.
Hey, both at the same time. Perfect. UOG Press is in sync in more ways than one.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you both. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.